Coma, death in the air, smell the aroma. These niggas crooked like the neck on a vulture. Plotting, wanna test the soldier, cause the ladies watch a nigga like Oprah.
Do it.
Fuck yeah. And we're done. We're back, folks. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. 420 hashtag Weed Wednesday. We're trying to figure this out. We got this issue going on with the audio on our intro.
What's going on, man?
We'll get it right. That's
right.
only for the live folks that are watching live. We appreciate you if you're watching live, but we'll get it right for the podcast. Speaking of the podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it's you like to listen to radio, WJHM102jams.com.
Shout out.
Catch us every hashtag Weed Wednesday there, 7 p.m. Anywhere you get your podcast, whether you're an Apple user, whether you are an Android user, whether you have Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever it is, just Google the Podheads Webshow. Accept no invitations. If it's not these guys, it's not the right guys.
Yeah.
Big Ace, what's up? Big Ace can't be with us.
up?
He's actually on the road. He's actually going to be driving and texting into the show.
Make sure.
Live.
Yeah.
So just kidding. So yeah, he's going to be checking out. He's actually coming down from Tallahassee, so he couldn't make it to the show today. But he'll be with us. Like I said, big JB.
What up? That's right.
JB.
That's
Frank
right.
the Tank?
It is a little weird today without having Big
little
Ace
weird.
here.
I'm
A little
thrown
weird.
off.
You know, you look a little weird.
Was I just not going to mention the coat? So
I think I had to mention
for those of
it.
you that are just listening after the fact, not watching, my buddy Paul Thomas Conrad, this guy's a true
Paul
mensch.
Thomas Conrad.
This guy's a true mensch. I grew up with this guy, brother from another mother. He lives in Washington State now. He had to move out there with his beautiful family, Z and his kids,
What up?
Q and Cyrus. And so they decided to send me a coat for some reason. Paul texted me and was like, "Hey, what size
Emergency.
coat are you?"
I need to know your size.
I'm like, "Okay, size coat. I don't know. Medium. I don't know." He says, I'm sending you a coat." All right, cool. So now, of course, I'm not going to be ungrateful. This is the coat that arrives. Leopard skin. It's not denim. It's very soft.
I was just going to say, I'm laughing at it because it's so unexpected and it's so Paul that I love it.
Yeah.
But it's not a freaking bad looking
It's
jacket.
not bad.
Like, it fits you well.
Thank
It's
you.
good material. Like, and the print itself is like
Let
dope.
me say, yeah, it's not terrible. I'm not hating it.
I'm
Let me
not
say
hating
that.
it.
But I'm rocking it today because PTC, my homeboy, sent it.
Looks good.
Sent it for me.
Yeah.
So thank you, Paul Conrad, for the jacket. Cheetah skin, if you will, leopard skin. If you could imagine, kind of like a denim cut.
right.
denim corduroy type of situation, cut,
But leopard print.
But leopard print and very soft. I don't
Mhm.
even know. Like I said, I don't know what material this is.
I mean, he had to
It's
know
got a
your
nice
size.
liner in it
like-
too. This isn't a cheap coat.
That's what I'm
ladies
saying.
and gentlemen. This is a pretty fancy coat, and I appreciate
From
it.
a fancy guy,
From
Paul.
a fancy guy. Paul
Conrad.
is a very classy guy.
Shout
So
out.
anyway,
Mhm.
no weed wheel today, just because today's kind of an interesting episode. We wanted to, like I said, we're constantly evolving. I said it before on earlier episodes. By the way, shout out to everybody watching live: Facebook, YouTube,
Yeah,
Instagram,
definitely.
Twitch, wherever you're at. You can find us there. If you're listening, share this, comment, let us know how you feel about stuff. We're switching directions a little bit, right?
Going back to our roots, I would say.
Yeah,
Like,
trying to get back to our
yeah.
roots of the podcast style. That's not to say that we're not doing any of our fun shenanigans. I got a fat ass blunt lit up here that we rolled up courtesy of Mr. Cash here and some I think black runts. So very good stuff. But we decided to forego the weed wheel because we had quite a long episode. We have an interesting case to get into.
Interesting.
But getting
to
back to
say
the
the
whole
least.
podcast thing, right? We wanted to get away from the wacky news stuff, right? I've been thinking
The
a
news
lot
hurts
more
lately.
about,
I wanna talk about it.
philosophically and just kind of introspectively. And I'm just like, what the hell do
Plato
I
over
care
here.
about celebrities
It's
and
true.
shit like that? Well, what do I care about anything like that? But anyway, I wanted to talk about interesting stuff or I don't know, introspective stuff. Today, I thought we should talk about something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes shoot the shit, but anyway, I want to talk about something interesting. And today we're going to talk about a tragic spelunking accident.
Spelunking. And there's number one, by the
Spelunking.
way.
By the way,
Yeah.
we're going to play a game. If we're going to try to say spelunking as many times without making it too bad.
Obnoxious.
So either hit a bowl or drink a beer, take a sip every time you hear spelunking.
Yep,
At least
that's
I'm
two.
going up.
Hit it.
Oh, that is two. So in honor of this guy, so a tragic cave accident, cave exploring accident in 2009. And we're going to talk about it because I recently found, I get baked and I try to look for all kinds of interesting things and try to stay away from Hollywood and celebrity stuff. And I found a case about the fact that the remains of this spelunkerer still remain in this cave after over 12 years today.
That's really the grabber,
Yeah.
right? Like this.
And for Big Ace, he asked what that was. Yeah, that's he's reference to the Dark Knight. Yeah. So anyway, for those of you that don't know what spelunking is, it's basically cave exploring.
The official term.
Yeah. John Edward Jones, an avid spelunker, cave diver.
That's like five.
Tragically died in 2009 after an accident, right? Getting stuck, and we're gonna cover it on this episode here, right? So let's get right into it, right? John Edward Jones and the infamous Nutty Putty Cave, dude. Nutty Putty Cave. What a terrible, terrible place to have your final resting place.
I mean, really. I mean, the name itself kind of gives a little bit of like, this probably isn't the right place to be at. Nutty Putty. It just doesn't sound like a proper cave name. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
it's a little sketch.
It is a little sketch. When the cave is called Nutty Putty.
Sounds fun to me, actually.
Okay, so
sounds
maybe,
like a fun place to trip.
Do you not remember Nutty
It's a
Putty,
little-
like the fucking the putty shit that you used to play with back in the day?
Yeah, Nutty
Wasn't it
Putty
called
used to
Nutty
be
Putty?
right. The stuff you just put like on a newspaper
Yeah.
and you get the.
It was like silly putty back in the
silly
Yeah,
Putty.
same shit.
They called it Nutty Putty because it came in like a little peanut.
Right. Okay.
But this was old school. This is like 50s, 60s type of thing.
Old stuff.
And we'll learn later where the cave got his name. Anyway, so this is the story of John Edward Jones. So John Edward Jones and his family were from Sandy, Utah, and they were like really into spelunking. His father frequently took them and his brother Josh on caving expeditions when they were kids. Although he had when they were kids. Okay? So these guys. They went spelunking often, right? There was a family of cave dwellers, right?
Okay.
So
when I first heard the story, I was like, why would anybody, why would a tourist, why would anybody get stuck in a cave? I was already shitting on him a little bit because how do you get stuck in a cave?
Sounds like something only white people do.
I'm just saying. But
It's not
apparently,
racist.
he was experienced. It's not like it would be me going into spelunking in this cave again.
Sure,
So.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going spelunking anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so although he had a lifetime of spelunking experience, John hadn't been inside any cave of any kind in recent years leading up to the events in 2009.
Okay.
So at the time, John was married. He had recently become a father and was studying to become a pediatric cardiologist. So, he was studying at the University of Virginia, kind of a big deal.
It is a big. Anytime you're being a doctor for kids, you gotta, put one up in the air.
Good man, right?
You're a good person,
good
right?
Man. Absolutely. He came from a big family, having 5 brothers, 2 sisters, lots of cousins and nieces and nephews. And his father was like a devout Mormon. You said it,
okay,
right?
Utah, right? That makes a lot of brothers and sisters, right? Yeah. Where's Big Ace when you need him? He wants to make fun of Mormons all the time.
What is it
having
with
a
like
big
the
families?
uber religious and having like lots of kids?
I mean, is it the Bible tells you to do it? I don't know. I've always thought, farm work. We need laborers. Like, I mean, it's funny, but it's not like the Amish. I think about
Amish women.
That's where my mind goes when I think of these uber religious people having a lot of kids. It's for work purposes, for hands.
Yeah.
At least that's where my mind goes. So.
Well, listen, he came from a big family. And his family was actually about to get even bigger because his wife, Emily Peterson, was expecting their second child. So the guy had, like I said, spent some time away from the caves. So now this guy, John, was a classic overachiever. This guy, big deal, came from a devout religious family, like I said. And so faith and service was a big part of his life. Before the age of 26, he had already a litany of accomplishments, including he achieved Eagle Scout status. He was the president of his high school class, and he had already gone on previous missions to Ecuador to help the.
Yeah, right. So he was a Mormon from Utah, right? I was a Mormon. I grew up Mormon.
Yeah, you can relate to this guy.
I do. I can totally relate because I grew up Mormon and I grew up a Boy Scout. Boy Scouts and the church, the Mormon church, were connected. Like all the boys were Boy Scouts. They all did it. I could only reach heart level status. So this guy.
So what does it take to become a
it takes
Eagle
years.
Scout?
Like it takes
gotta get all the badges.
15 years. You have to meet minimum requirement, which could very well be a sash full of badges. Like even the polar bear one, right? The polar bear swim ones. Yeah, he did it all. You said overachiever. It's a hard work to get to that level. Of Boy Scouts. So, yeah. And you said he went on a mission. Mormon young men, before they get married or before their early 20s, go on missions around the world trying to spread the word of Jesus Christ or whatnot. And he did that too. So you said it. He was already doing shit before he was 22.
I didn't know that was like a deal. So
yeah, it's like part of the Mormon religion that the young people need to go help spread religion. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
This guy's, it's not a mic, JB.
Yeah.
I think that goes to Cash.
Yeah.
Dominican. Anyway, so, okay. So on November 24, 2009, the brothers John and Josh decided it had been long enough since their last caving expedition and chose Nutty Putty Cave for their next adventure. Right? It was 8 p.m. on Wednesday, just a few days before Thanksgiving. When they arrived at the cave site, John and Josh, along with 9 other friends and acquaintances, entered Nutty Putty Cave for some good old-fashioned spelunking, right?
So.
What else?
I guess so.
But of course, no one knowing that only 10 of them would make it home for Thanksgiving.
Imagine that. I mean, obviously, hindsight, we know the story now, but imagine you going out with your friends, doing whatever, and one of you isn't coming back the next day.
It's pretty messed up, right? Especially right around the holidays.
Right? Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So a little bit about Nutty Putty Cave here. And it's just fun saying that, Nutty Putty Cave, right?
It sounds fun. Yeah. Cash
sounds like a place you go and do, like you trip, you take mushrooms at and smoke. So
whoa, yeah. The lighting in this room.
Yeah, it's Big Ace being gone has got us all out of whack here, lighting and all that, but it's all good. So Nutty Putty Cave, it's a hydrothermal cave located west of Utah Lake in Utah County, Utah.
I say that 3 times
yeah.
freaking fast.
It's got a total surveyed length of about 1,400 feet and a depth of roughly 145 feet. So it's a pretty big cave.
It is big cave. And I like that you said it was hydro. What was it?
Hydrothermal?
Thermal. That means that I know how those were made. Literally from the bottom up. This is a cave that was made from the bottom up. Hot water coming its way through the limestone, and the minerals in that water eat up the limestone and create this crevasses system, right? And
that's why you get the images of like the
curves and stuff like
and
that. These types of cave are known for tight spaces and things like that, because that's how water goes least resistance, right? Yeah. And here you go, Nutty Putty Cave.
Big Ace, I don't know.
Made from the bottom.
If Big Ace lost us. He said, "Where'd you guys go? Holler at us if you can't see us, Big Ace." That's pretty cool, interesting. Do we have any images of that, like the entrance or like the way these thermal? So you could see the way inside inside the cave, like it looks like basically water channels through. I thought you had a picture of the image. Yeah, where's that at? The front picture of the image.
I got you.
Well, hit those buttons again so that they're gone.
Sorry.
Yeah, JB's working
That's the best picture I got of the entrance, I believe.
JB's working the box today. It's all good.
But you see, look, it's an entrance that goes straight down.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So first explored in 1960 by Dale Green. The name is believed to relate to the soft brown putty-like texture of the clay found by Green in many of his tunnels prior to his closure in 2009. So it only has an entrance, like you said, of that like that little hole at the top.
It's a hole.
Yeah. So
3 meters wide, I believe it is.
Yeah. So the name came from like back in 1960, Nutty Putty. Right, that's got to be like a name from the 50s.
It is.
Dale
like
Green.
I think the story is the material. The guy who discovered it, the rock walls reminded him of silly putty, nutty putty,
because it was just
the
goopy
texture and goopy and stuff like
very
that.
Clayish.
So it is apropos. I like that word. That this cave was named that because it reminded the discoverer of that material. So you can imagine what kind of muddy rock that really is.
And like you said, the hole to get in there is only a few meters like wide, and it's like you're just walking on the surface of the ground, and then there's a hole, and then like I said, 1,400 feet long and 140 foot deeper, and you're
at the bottom of the earth.
Yeah,
who knows?
So anyway, this cave quickly became famous for its narrow and slippery passageways, twists, turns, tight squeezes. Right, different parts of the cave were even named accordingly. One called the Birth Canal, the Aorta Crawl, the Scout Eater, and the Maze.
Yes, the Scout Eater is my favorite one of this story. Like by the names, you can imagine how tight these spaces are. I mean, you said the Birth Canal was that 10 centimeters, but you can imagine. And I like the Scout Eater because this tragedy, and I guess it's the only tragedy, but it's not the first time somebody's gotten stuck at this Nutty Putty Cave.
Yes.
In 2006, I believe, or several years before this event, 2006, I believe, several scouts got in there and got trapped. And fortunately, they were able to be rescued out and nobody died. But in this hole, the Scout Eater is where these scouts were trapped. So foreshadowing, I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
the
that's
Scout
pretty.
Eater.
Yeah, before 2009, there was actually 4 separate rescues. One of those including the Boy Scouts.
The Scout Eater.
Who all got stuck in narrow passages. So I mean, pretty crazy.
Tell you, man, if you don't know what you're doing, people, Scouts. I mean, I know you guys think you're all that Eagle Scouts and all, but if you're not a spelunker, hit your weed right there. Slow down, man. Slow down, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
No, absolutely. They said, reports said in 2006, the cave was seeing over 5,000 visitors every year, many of which were amateurs, right? Didn't take proper safety precautions whatsoever. Big Ace. I mean, where did JB go for missionary work? Oh, he was wondering.
I didn't go missionary because I never made it that far. You have to be over 18, obviously. They're not going to send a 16-year-old to Ecuador or Brazil.
All right, back to it. Yeah. Okay. So yes, most of these people that were traveling in this cave were rookies, right? So the
Mhm.
fact that it was so popular and busy had caused excessive smoothing inside the rock, and experts at the time believed that a fatality was imminent.
Oh, so look at all the touching, all the rubbing, corrosion. It's only a matter of time. Someone really gets stuck out here.
Yeah, and so they closed it down,
bro.
right? In
They
2000,
called it.
I think May 2006, a gate was installed, and it was temporarily enclosed up until the May 2009,
yeah,
when they actually opened it again after they met certain safety precautions.
Yeah, I believe spelunklers were upset that they couldn't spelunk in this cave, right? They closed it down. They didn't want anybody getting trapped. Enough people griped, and now they opened it, like you said, in 2009 again after closing it for a few years.
Yeah. So I mean,
And it didn't take long.
It didn't, right?
It didn't.
So
take
they
long.
opened it in May, less than a few months.
Yeah,
a year
November,
later,
right?
Yeah. This guy would find his final resting place. So the incident, right? What happened? November 2009. November 24th. I think just about 2-3 days before Thanksgiving.
2 days they decided, right? They showed
Yeah.
up 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So they decided they were going to enter the cave 8 p.m. Him and his party.
So okay, first of all, 8 p.m. Like it's night. Like it's night. Like are you really that professional to feel comfortable to go spelunking?
Maybe it's
at
hot
night?
during the day. I have no idea.
Okay.
Geothermal.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
point.
From what I
That's a good
read
point.
about this, and we'll put our sources in the description. But from what I read about this, was that they a lot of people go spelunking at night. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just so they could use the cool flashlights. I mean, I guess you have to anyway. It's dark. I went.
That's
you know
true.
what? I actually went spelunking once. I went
Okay.
ziplining in a
yeah.
huge cave in Kentucky. Shout out to Fred and everybody up in Kentucky. But yeah, it was the middle of the day and it was pitch black under there without
Gotcha.
your.
Yeah, so I was
without
gonna
your
say, I think that they just do it because it's already black.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Okay,
And
that's
it's probably-
true. So in the
probably-
cave, it doesn't matter that it's dark outside.
It's probably cooler at night, like way
Yeah,
cooler.
no,
at
you're
night.
right.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I'm
right.
thinking.
My first thinking is that if something goes wrong, night is the worst time to
Sure.
to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's people I think available to help.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
Okay, so they explored the cave for over an hour, right? Finally converging in the largest room of the cave, named the Big Slide. So they all,
Okay.
John, his brother Josh, and then 9 of their friends and family all get together in the Big Slide, and they're like, "Hey, this is awesome. We're having a great time. Everything's cool."
So they all make their way, scraping, do.
Yeah, doing their own thing, right?
Gotcha.
And then not long after, John and Josh decide we need a challenge.
Okay.
So basically, Big Ace just stayed talking shit on he's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So basically, they decided they wanted a challenge, right? They wanted to take up something they heard about called the birth canal, right? We talked about it earlier. They wanted to try and pass through the birth canal. Very tight, very small passageway. And it's one of the bigger challenges or the harder challenges in the whole cave. But eventually it leads to an opening, as you can see on the map if you're watching live or just Google it. It leads to an opening where you can get out, turn around, and get your way back out. So only the bravest, most experienced people go through the birth canal. Even though John hadn't been there in a while or ever been in this cave, he felt confident.
Yeah, I mean, they if you know when caves are mapped and you know that there's something on the other side, you feel pretty comfortable about squeezing in a tight space if you know there's something on the other side. I think that's what his feeling was like. If I get through the birth canal, I know there's going to be room on the other side.
Yeah, I think they looked at maps.
They did,
right?
yeah.
So they thought they knew what they were getting into.
Exactly.
So John went first, right? Being the overachiever that he was, he crawled forward for some time, but never found the larger room. He continued to inch forward, but the narrow passage never came to an end. Instead, it made a sharp downward turn. And he didn't realize that he wasn't actually in the birth canal.
Right.
So he continued to press forward. But by the time he realized he was lost, it was already too late. He was stuck.
He was stuck, man. He got lost. He took the wrong turn. And, I don't have the pictures here, but the birth canal also goes down. So when he made that wrong turn and saw a hole down, his like, oh, the birth canal. Sure, I got it. And boom. Oh, shit.
He got stuck
I'm
halfway down.
I'm stuck. Holy crap.
Yeah,
I'm
so the
stuck.
passageway he actually crawled into was called Ed's Push.
Ed's
now
Push.
Ed's Push does not lead anywhere.
Mhm.
At least nowhere a 6 foot, 200-pound Jones could fit. It was a big guy.
Yeah, think about it. We talk about this particular cave being tight and windy and this, and you got a 206
Poor
foot
guy,
plus guy. Like, I'm not saying a big guy can't go spelunking, but you got to know what you're getting into, man. You got to know what you're getting into.
Absolutely. So, of course, John was lost and he kept pushing through until he couldn't continue. To top things off, he wriggled into like this fissure that went nearly straight down, which made him unable to turn back on his own.
Oh, man.
So now, the spot he was trapped in was 10 by 18 inches.
10 by 18.
Like, this is a tiny little, and
That's
it's
a hole.
it's less than the size of a washing machine.
Yeah, the front loader, right?
yes.
Everyone knows a front loader. What that hole is this big?
And it's not a perfect hole that he's stuck in.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect hole he's stuck in. I know we got some images to see if JB can get the right ones up.
Boom.
Look
There
at
it
this
is. Yeah.
thing. If you're watching live, you can see those are his legs. That is the hole that this guy is stuck in.
And in the position he is stuck in too.
Yeah.
You can see he is face down, upside down with
heels up.
only his feet
I mean, he is
showing. He's in
utterly
trouble.
Shit.
Yeah, he's in trouble at this
Deep
point.
shit. So now he's stuck upside down in a what's known as a hook position. So like his legs are kind of faced one way, his body's almost at like a 45-degree angle where his head is directly straight down at the earth. So he's trapped more than 100 feet below the surface and in big trouble.
Yeah.
With very little time to spare, of course, right? So what does his brother do? His brother was the first guy on scene and actually tried to manage to pull him up a little bit. You know what I mean?
God damn it.
What are you trying to do, JB?
I am the worst
Stop hitting buttons.
button pusher in the history of
JB,
pusher. If you're watching us
JB
live,
over here
I'm so sorry.
Hitting buttons. And if you know JB, you're not surprised
I'm so
at
sorry.
all.
I am so sorry. We will get this right.
Oh,
my
that's
folks.
so funny.
Oh man.
We need to train JB
Yes,
on.
please. I need us to be signed off before I push any buttons, please.
All right. Anyway, back to the story. So John is screwed.
Yeah,
essentially.
he's in a bad
Heels
position.
up, stuck in this hole.
Yeah.
John's brother Josh is the first one to find him. Right. He manages to pull him up a few inches by his ankles.
Okay.
Right. But as soon as he lets go to I don't know, catch his breath or whatnot,
Mhm.
John slides back into the crevice.
Even further.
So thanks, but no thanks, bro.
You're not helping
Go
me
get some
out
help.
here.
Go get some help. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he runs, right? John hauls ass. Josh hauls ass.
Right, his
So
brother.
go get some help. According to a quote from the article cavehaven.com, John was stuck with one hand pinned underneath him and the other forced backwards.
Ooh.
His ankles and feet were free, but were of little use as gravity pushed him down. So they both said a quick prayer, and Josh hurried back to service to get help while their friends stayed with John.
So his brother tried to help him out. His brother grabbed him, which you can imagine. Try to lift him in.
200-pound man.
Yeah, I mean, with just your arm strength, not many people can do that.
By the way, you're in a crevice. They're not in like standing.
Yeah,
They're like laying in a small
weird positions, bad grips. I mean, it's almost helpless. But you're saying that his brother pulled him, and when he let go, that's when his arms got trapped beneath him. Damn, you're upside down, messed up, and now your arms are behind you, underneath you. Yeah, it's getting worse.
Freaking out.
Yeah, it's getting worse by the minute for him, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
Yeah, I'd be
right,
freaking out.
Josh went to go get some help. Now by the time the first rescuer, first responder, rescue personnel got there, he had been stuck for over 3 hours.
Damn, for 3 hours
yeah.
before even anybody was
in the form of a rescue volunteer. So who wasn't much help at the time, just basically there to comfort him and let him know that, dude,
we're here,
and
you.
more people are on the way.
We're trying.
Yeah. So not long after, dozens more joined in the effort. These rescuers thought of everything from lubing the walls to drilling and trying to chip at the cave walls to like widen it, right?
Yeah.
Think of everything. That's the first thing I thought of. Can they not drill through this damn cave or do something to get them out of there? Obviously, they can't blow it up, right? And you can see these guys thought of everything. But after hours, they could only get a few inches of rock, not enough to make Not enough to make
and he
any
was
difference.
already
Yeah.
waiting, hours and hours. How long can he last by just chipping away at rock? It would
Exactly.
almost impossible.
So they eventually devised a plan to use a pulley system, drilled into the walls of the cave to pull him out by his legs.
Okay.
And this pulley system, I mean, was pretty complex.
Yeah, I mean, I told you there was 15 of them. I mean, just look at this picture if you're watching us live. You got this guy trying to drill an anchor point for his pulleys in this position, like in the fetal position.
Yeah, arms cocked
in,
wrist in.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. And yet, these rescuers spent however many hours putting up 15 pulley systems.
Absolutely.
And this was a complex, because you said it, 100 feet down and 400 feet from the top. So, I mean, every time you add a pulley, you're adding stress to whatever. I mean, it's really complex. And I'm actually really surprised that they managed to at least get it started,
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, everything about this, the cave, right, made it more difficult. The narrow this passage and how
impossible.
Yeah, nobody could fit in the area to perform the work. So it took a while. By the time the entire system was set up, John had been stuck in this position for over 19 hours.
Damn.
And he was obviously, needless to say, in very bad shape.
Upside down.
Very bad shape.
Upside down. Hands trapped underneath you. One behind you underneath you.
Yeah, Big A's, you're right.
Upside down. Damn, right? Quien te manda in Spanish.
Yeah.
He thought he was a spelunkler. I mean, if you've done it before, you think you can do it again. Maybe he didn't think that he wasn't a kid anymore.
Yeah.
That you are 6 foot, whatever, 200 plus pounds, and maybe squeezing in. Anytime you have to take a deep breath to squeeze your rib kink, it's probably not a very good idea. I mean, no matter what
Probably
you're
sliding
doing,
down a little bit more every time.
And another thing, I'm not a professional spelunker, but I have to believe one rule is like, go feet first.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Go feet first, especially when you're going down. Like, you were stuck upside down and hooked. Like, there has to be a rule in cave diving. Like, in an unknown area going down, go feet first.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, man. Look it up, somebody. If not, put that one in.
That's what I would think. That's what I would think, but I don't know.
Go feet first.
I don't know. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt.
Go feet first.
So yeah,
Rest in peace,
obviously after by the time where was I here? By the time
hours,
19 hours later, 20 hours of being upside down, right?
Terrible,
your brain, all the blood is rushing to your head. Your heart's having a hard time pumping that blood to your body. He was having trouble breathing. His heart rate was accelerated. He was suffering from fits of panic. They even brought a radio out to him, like a two-way radio, so he could like talk to his wife who was standing outside the cave trying to console him. So this was, by now this is getting pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean, at 20 hours,
yeah.
I'm freaking out the whole time, but at 20 hours, my mortality's probably questioning it, and I know I'm talking to my wife and children. Like, imagine the emotions, and I'm scared.
Geez, yeah.
I am terrified of what's happening right now. Please get me out. Oh, I feel for him, man.
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Okay, so back to the pulley system, right? The rescuers worked in groups of 8, right? You said very complex, very heavy.
Yeah.
15 pulleys, 100 feet up.
Yeah.
8 people at a time pulling together, right? It was a slow process, and they managed to make progress, but they had to stop often because John was in like a lot of pain. He had swelling, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they had to take a lot of breaks, but they would kind of inch, pull, and then take a break. Well, after the 3rd time, things were looking good. They got him up. They could actually see his eyes.
Oh, man.
And he was like right there, right? The rescuers were able to talk to him and say, how you doing?
Yeah, you're so
Everything
close.
was looking so promising. But on the 4th pull, disaster struck, man. One of the pulleys busted out of its anchor points and sent it shattered clay, right? Sent shattering clay and rock and metal flying into the faces of the rescuers.
The rescuers actually hit one and injured a few of them.
Absolutely.
Nutty Putty Cave. I mean, the name strikes. Like, it was that. It just the material itself wasn't busted. It just busted, just completely mudded away, and that was it, because it wasn't just a hole. It broke the wall around it. Yeah. And now your options are even more limited.
And John, I mean, even though the poor rescuers got hit with shrapnel in the face, John got sent careening back down into the hole. taking away all the progress and sticking him in further.
even further.
Yeah.
Add some force behind it.
And imagine that pain, right? The swelling and the pain he already experienced. I mean, it must have been
Dude.
excruciating.
Yeah, dude, that is
Yeah.
that's tough to even imagine, because you can imagine yourself, and you're even the rescuers thinking about it, the wife's thinking about it, he's thinking about, oh, it's working, it's
We're right
working, it's
there.
working,
Oh,
we're right
God.
there, right there, and in just that one instant, it's all, and you send them further, hurt them even more, like, and then really just kind of all your options are done by that.
Yeah. And I'm no expert, you would think, well, why wasn't somebody trying to hold on to him, do something to anchor him?
belay on or
But
something.
again, we got to remember, this is a tight squeeze. There's only one person that actually had access to John.
Yeah.
The rest of the people were working way back, so like this was not easy. This was really tough.
Yeah.
So anyway, by the time the rescue team was able to attend to their injuries and actually replace the injured personnel, they tried a few more attempts, failed attempts, but after not long, his breathing went shallow and inconsistent, and he was no longer responsive.
So they were able to get this pulley system back up and running, and they kept trying.
No, basically the pulley system was out. It was no
Done.
longer safe. What happened was a few people tried to go back in there and tie ropes around him and around his waist.
Anything.
Actually, the last person to go in there tried one more desperate attempt to climb in, tie a rope down around his like hips area and pull him out, but that dude got stuck and had to get rescued himself.
Oh my goodness, no, yeah,
and he was rescued.
Okay, thank goodness.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
but they were like, all right,
that's the deciding factor. Really.
That was it. And by the time they could even think, he was unresponsive. A few hours later, they sent medical personnel down to crawl and pronounce him dead. Only a few minutes before midnight. So yeah, crazy.
Wow.
After over 130 rescuers and over 27 hours of attempts to save him, they had to leave John right where he was stuck.
I mean, I'm really speechless in this story because I knew this story, yet I can put myself in that position and even the rescuer's position. Like, imagine yourself trying and nothing. Like, you're not able to save this person's life. One thing I did want to mention about the rescuers that I thought it was very and interesting is that, only the very skinny could actually get down there and work. John was 200 pounds and just barely making it through these cave tunnels, while the rescuers had to get down there and work as well. So you can imagine what kind of size these rescuers. I believe the first one was a lady. Like, they were making phone calls. We need expert spelunklers who are 5'X" and 120 pounds or less, because we need them. And that's why 130 showed up, because, we're here to help, but you can't fit. Or here to help, but you can't fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and believe me, they had ambulances, they had police, they had fire trucks, they had helicopters. You saw in the pictures, they had rigging equipment. But I mean, this thing was just tough. Pull up that diagram. Let's see if JB can pull it up.
It says diagram.
There you go.
Right there.
So you can see the complex pulley system as we were speaking about. You have a picture down in the bottom left. If you're not if you're not watching, basically, we've got a diagram of the pulley system. You can see in the bottom right the tiny hole that this guy was stuck in, and how only one rescuer had access to this guy's legs.
His legs.
You know what I mean? And the pulley system that they needed to use in order to help this guy. So it was, just claustrophobic. You got to give a shout out to the brave people, because Claude, that is a nightmare. For one, John Jones, that is just the stuff of nightmares. That is a slow, painful, excruciating, nightmarish death. That sucks. Especially if you're one of a devout, kind, because I'm sure you're asking yourself, what the hell did I do?
I'm sure he was praying, and his whole family. I read his obituary, and even in his obituary said, we don't know why it happened, or you know what I mean, because he was such a great person. There's no reason for him to be gone right now. So
it makes one question their religion. I don't know. Watch the last episode.
We did speak about that on religion.
Yeah. So it's pretty tragic. It's pretty sad. But you definitely gotta commend the people for their effort, because that is the stuff of nightmares. I'm not sure if you know, I was a firefighter once, and I trained in tight spaces, and I remember doing training for rescue efforts for things like that, not in caves, but in collapses and buildings. And let me tell you, when it's hot and you're sweating and you're covered in gear, and you know you're not sure if the hole that you're climbing in, if you can exactly get out. It's a scary thing. So
scary. I think it's I'm sure it's a fear that goes far and wide, but it is a primal fear. I think, you know, constricted anaconda.
Put yourself in that guy's shoes,
being buried alive.
Yeah.
You know, this story being stuck in a cave, upside down, and face down. Like it's the stuff of freaking nightmares. And I believe that's got to be some kind of form of torture, being hung upside down till you die. I'm sure in some kind of ancient times there. I mean, you said they had to stop. I was, while you were saying this, like they
were getting him food and, you know, and water and stuff. They were able to like slide stuff to him during the process. But, you know, of course, like I said, the pure,
it's the heart, right? It's the physiological response to you being upside down. Your heart has to now fight gravity to get blood to your feet and everywhere else, and it just messes everything up, man.
Exactly.
Cardiac arrest, right, was the official cause of death. His heart just stopped working because it worked too hard being upside down in that position that long. Painful death. You said torture. Yeah, I bet his limbs were inflamed.
Oh yeah,
throbbing, like just. I mean,
he mentioned too when I think his final words to a rescuer was, "I really, really want to get out," and because he had mentioned that, you know, I can't believe I'm stuck upside down here. I'm in. My legs are in so much pain. I really, really want to get out. So you said it, you know, a very painful, terrible, terrible way to go, especially kind of right there in front of your family and documented for the world to see.
Yeah.
By the way, the next day, authorities deemed the cave too dangerous to continue any more rescue efforts. And less than a week later, they sealed the popular spelunking site to the public permanently forever.
They actually did it. You know, there was a little.
Essentially, they entombed him in the Nutty Putty Cave.
You know, the future, and they have a memorial, so people know that his body is down there. But I imagine the future, people going down there and getting his body. As I say that, I'm reminded of there was an outcry about keeping Nutty Putty Cave open regardless to this, because it's taking a cave out of the community. I don't know their particular
everybody's
arguments, but everybody has to, because he made a mistake, and now, you know, the community or whatever has to suffer. So there was, you know, Facebook groups, petitions, letters written, but ultimately the land is private. The land is private, and the owner of the land plus the government officials made the decision, and ultimately that's it. So, like you said, they concreted it. They concreted the entrance to it, just the top.
Very kind of religious feel to this. Everything, you know, sealed in a cave.
Wow,
he did not rise though.
I mean, I think they could have grabbed. I mean, I'm not trying to be too morbid, but they could have grabbed his remains after a while.
Maybe get his bones.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, by now gravity has probably drag them further. I have no idea. I will say though that if you look at that map, where he got off to is just uncharted territory. He got himself lost, you know, just didn't know exactly where he's at. I guess not paying enough attention to the map. You said it yourself. It was an error. It was an error on his part. And, you know, the history is riddled with these kind of things. You know, you go back in from ancient times to now, like I think they just found a guy who was like perfectly preserved in like a bog in like Ireland, like you know what I mean? Yeah. And the you know, scientists believe he fell in by mistake at
tripped
night
on his shoes or some shit.
You know what I mean? And so this kind of things have been happening. You saw the movie 127 Hours, right? Homeboy had to cut his own arm off. That's crazy. He was in there longer.
I would be dead.
Face up. Yeah. What would you prefer?
I would be dead.
Cut your own arm off or die slow and painful upside down.
I would cut my arm off if I had the choice of two, but I can't see myself pushing myself to cut my arm off. Being with a stubby ass,
with a Swiss Army knife. That's a commercial. For
just
Swiss
thinking
Army
about
knife
it.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So sure you can cut your arm off.
So right? No, cut my arm off. Yes, for sure.
No, yeah. I feel Big A's talking about nosy people that want to see the body. Yeah, I definitely hear you. Like they probably sealed it up so people won't go see the body.
You know, it's
but-
funny you say that, and Cash. Now I regret not putting the picture of, but in like 2018, the memorial the plaque that they put up. This is the plaque that they put up after, they entombed them in there, right? As in memoriam. If you're watching live in 2018, somebody shot up that memorial. Somebody took a gun and shot up the plaque there. So to your point, somebody would have been down and grabbed his bone and done something on TikTok.
Yeah. There's
or
always
something. Like guaranteed.
Yeah,
I'm almost certain.
Crazy shit. Yeah. Always gonna be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the case of John Edward Jones and the Nutty Putty Cave.
The Nutty.
We get baked and we find ourselves kind of exploring, right? Get down the rabbit hole, and I don't even remember how I stumbled across this, but it fascinated me, the fact that I was like, damn, his bones are still there. His family's never been able to even put this guy to rest.
That's the craziest.
That's just how
part,
dangerous
dude.
this thing is. Like,
that's the crazy. And I think about like Everest and stuff like, because there's dead people up there too.
On Everest, there's tons of dead people up on Everest.
So I mean, we're not gonna close Everest, right? I don't know if we needed to close Nutty Putty.
So you are against closing?
The more I read to it, and spelunking, is piquing my interest a little bit. He made a mistake, and there are ways to respectfully show respect to his remains. Yeah,
seal off the birth canal.
Seal off the uncharted pushes end.
Heads push.
It doesn't. Heads push. It doesn't go anywhere. I mean, that's what it's been stated. So close that. Here's a warning to the rest of you. I see that in underwater caves. There's big crossbones and say, you come down here, you're dead, because it has happened on this date, on this date, on this date. So it should be a lesson to other people. And they probably shouldn't have closed the cave. But yeah, I'm sorry. I feel for John. I feel for his family, because it's a sucky way to die. You made a mistake, that's for sure. But damn, it sucks that you had to do 29 hours of that. Torture, for sure.
That is a shitty way to go. Terrible way to go. Anyway, that's it. I mean, Nutty Putty Cave. I think interesting story. Don't go spelunking if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yes, if you're not ready, get a guide. I mean, that's why people get paid to do that stuff. I mean, I get it. I get John. You in your younger years, you did it. You feel invincible. You can do it again. I get it, but have to have a little bit more self-awareness.
That's a great point. I went scuba. I got scuba certified in college.
Okay.
Quite some time ago now.
I can put on a fucking tank.
And anytime anybody talks about scuba, I'm like, bro,
I got it.
Let me know. I'm
it.
certified. I can go. But I would not dare get my ass in the ocean with scuba gear on unless I took a refresher course, because I know damn well
bends.
I don't remember what the hell I'm doing. I don't remember all the technical, the mixes and just the depths and the times that it takes. I know that there are, I still remember that those are important.
It's super important.
Like I'm sure this guy was remembering reading the map and wearing his helmet was important, but I
mean, I wonder
man.
if peer pressure was involved. I mean, 10 guys, 11 guys total. Let's go out spelunking, guys.
Eagle Scout, bro. Lead the way.
Lead the way. I still feel bad. In memoriam, I think we said spelunking at least 10 times.
Yeah, so I hope you're either baked or drunk.
Is super baked.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's a show.
Yeah, I guess we'll take it. Yeah.
Anyway, till next time. #We Wednesday.
Peace out. Thanks to you guys. Later.
Appreciate you. Don't go spelunking.